Okay, so I've gotten feedback from different ones on two different issues. So I'm going to break it up, and I will do this first one on classifiers, and then the next one I'm going to do talking about the assignment itself, because I want you to be successful and I don't want the class to be frustrating for anybody. So first, let's talk about what classifiers are. There is a difference between a sign and a classifier. A sign is something that we use to represent something that typically we can give an English word for the sign. For example, sandwich. You have your two hands and you put them as though you're going to eat it. Sandwich, sandwich. That's the sign for sandwich. But if I took up my sandwich and I picked it up and now I'm eating it, it becomes the classifier. It becomes the thing that represents something. So the person can be walking down the street. So this is not the letter 1, it's not a D, it's the classifier of the person. It's classifying this. So the person is walking down the street. If it's an older person or a person that's not feeling well, maybe he's bent over a little bit, then he's walking down the street. If he's drunk, he might be walking down the street. If they are going really fast, they could. This is not a sign. This is not a person. It's simply what it is because I've told you it's a person. But it in itself isn't a person. The sign for person is person. We always have to know what the classifier is before you start telling us about it. So if I tell you that it's yellow and you got to tell me what it is first. Have to know what it is first. So it is a ball. Ball. It's yellow and it's about this big. Obviously balls are round. But how big is it? Is it this big? Is it this big? Is it a beach ball that it's this big? Or is it a super ball that is this big? So it's a ball, it's yellow, and it's this big, and it pew, pew. That's the classifier. All of those were classifiers. That it's this big, or that it's this big, or that it's this big. And now that it bounces and goes pew, those are classifiers. They change. We discussed the different kinds of classifiers. There's the shape, there's the body part, there's the descriptive. You don't have to know those. It's good to know them, but you don't have to. I'm not going to test you on them. It's nice to know them because if you know them, then you can switch between them. So if I say she wants to cross her legs, my fingers can become the legs and she just crosses her legs. But notice how when I cross my legs, my shoulders automatically go back and my head goes back because I cross my legs. How many people cross their legs and sit upright? Not this way. You might if you do them this way. But to cross your legs, your body just kind of relaxes. That's all the non-manual markers that go in with the classifier. You have to have the non-manual markers with your classifiers. Non-manual markers, anything that's not on the hands, the manual. So, in your story, you're going to tell me things. You set it up with whatever it is. You tell me what it is. If it's the ball, and then it's this big, and then it goes poof, and then it rolls. That's the classifier of the ball rolling. Or it's the ball, and I take it, now it's in my hand. This classifier, it's in my hand. And I take it, and I throw it. And I roll shift, and I catch it. Those are all classifiers because I'm catching it. I don't have to then stop and say, roll shift and say, now the ball, I'm going to catch it. We have the visual of it. You tell us once that it's the ball, we got it. So this ball, it's yellow, it's this big, and it's like, but it's hard. It's like a soccer ball. It's not, it's rigid. Or it's yellow and it's like those at the beach. You know, the beach, they're like woogly. So show me a woogly ball. and you throw it and you throw it and it goes like, so show us what it's like. Everything that is descriptive are your classifiers. Classifiers are tend to be your adverbs and your adjectives. Those always go after whatever they're describing. I'm going to get into the story in the next one, so you need to watch this one and then watch the next one. That way they're not too long and not too big, so that you understand in your story where you're going to be using classifiers. But I wanted you to understand what they are. If this still isn't clear to you, reach out to me, let me know, and I'll help you with it, okay? Alrighty.